Hey. Back porch is back again. And I'm back with my boys, Jake and Scott, for another great episode. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the SEC, full breakdown of some teams, predictions, over unders. Guys, I am ready to get it going. So let's get this party started. First, Scott, how are you? Jake, how are you? It's been a few weeks. Um, Anything to update our loyal fan base on life or anything?
Life might have a purpose here soon because football season is coming back. The weekends have been dull. The dog days of summer of just Major League Baseball. And shout out Cavs, Summer League champs. Um,
Oh
hang
yeah.
the banner, print the T-shirts. But life has a purpose as fall is upcoming.
Uh, don't you know it? I mean, the All Star break was fun. The All Star game was great. It was a phenomenal game.
Yes.
The home run derby was stuff you you write about. The crowd was there. The competition was there. It was fun. But yeah, we get that lull part of this July through August, and football starting. We got people reporting to NFL camps this week. We got the Hall of Fame game in a couple weeks. It's starting to pick up, so that's why we wanted to go ahead and get our previews going because everybody's been predicting the last couple weeks, and I'm ready. I'm ready to get this show on the road and get all this information out to our loyal followers. So if you are listening to us and you're current this year, stay with us because we have the insight, we have that information, especially when it comes to SEC football. Two of us in here are SECers, so and we got one Big Tenner, but he's pretty good.
Love it.
All right, let's head up. Let's head up with our rapid fire over under. Scott, lead the way with this one, and we're just gonna go quick, rapid over under. These are from our Hollywood. What is it? Hard Rock bets. Is
Yes,
that
yes,
what we're
yes.
using? Okay.
Yes,
So
sir. So all of our lines this year will be sponsored by the uh, Hard Rock Bet. They just rebranded for the launch in 4 new states. So shout out to Hard Rock. Very easy app to use. A lot of props to bet on. We did have a little taste of it in November of 2021.
yes,
Really fun.
what a
Potentially
great
coming to
month.
Florida. Yes, it was. It was a great month. So shout out to Hard Rock Bet. We'll keep you updated on the Florida gambling news for that. We'll start off with the Alabama Crimson Tide. Over under is set at 10.5. Nate.
10.5. I believe the Crimson Tide. Uh, they're working on some things. I'm going under 10.5.
Jake.
Yes. So before I realized all the quarterback stuff, I had them going over. I still think I'm just going to roll with the over. It's hard for me not to predict Nick Saban to not have his first double-digit winning season in, I think, 13 years now. So I'm going to go over.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Scott
I'm
A.
on over with this one because uh, because of I got to see it them under 11 before I pick them to do it. So I'm over. Over to Jake's Auburn Tigers is set at 6.5. Nate.
6.5. I think Auburn gets 6. I think they go 6-6 this year. So under.
Under. Jake, your hometown team.
I've got him going over, and that's one of my breakdown teams later. So I'll go into it more. But I'm just going to keep it short right now. I'm going to go over 6.5 wins.
I'm over 6.5. I love the amount of talent that Freeze has brought in that you will let us know of here in a little bit.
Absolutely.
This one is good in the home state of Florida. Florida Gators over under is set at 5.5. Nate.
Way under. No, they I got him at 5. at 5 wins, so that's why I got them under. Their schedule's ridiculous.
I have the Florida Gators going under because they do have a very difficult schedule and they're still rebuilding from the shambles they were left in.
Yeah, and I don't trust
Yep,
Graham Mertz.
I'm with you. Under 5.5. They stole one against Utah early in the season last year. I don't think that happens when they go to Utah this year. Under 5.5. Georgia 11.5. Set at over under
Yes,
Nate.
there we go. I have Georgia. You said 11.5.
Mm-hmm.
Scott said 11.5.
Yes,
That means
11.5.
I don't think they're going to go undefeated. So I'm going to go under 11.5.
All right.
I think they will go undefeated with a cupcake schedule they have, so I have them hitting the over.
I have over 11.5 as well for the same reason. I don't think that their schedule is challenging.
It's definitely
Moving
not.
on to my Kentucky Wildcats. Over under is set at 6.5 for the Kentucky Wildcats. Nate.
I have Kentucky definitely like a dark horse team because you really can't. They've been competitive every year for the last 7 years. So I'm going to give them over that, probably around 8 wins, with Devin Leary coming in and solidifying his draft status.
I have Kentucky at over 6.5 wins.
Yep. I'm breaking down Kentucky here soon. So stick around for that. But I am over 6.5 as well with the Kentucky Wildcats. Moving on to the Bayou LSU Tigers over 9.5. Nate.
This is a
BK.
tough one. It's a tough one because they probably have the hardest schedule in the world. They're like them and South Carolina have the toughest schedule in the world. So, you said 9.5. So 9.5.
Yep.
I'm gonna go LSU over 9.5.
Yeah, I also have Go Tigers. I got them over 9.5 as well. Little Coach O tribute.
Shout out Coach O. We might have him in the news soon. Interested in the Northwestern job potentially. I have LSU under 9.5. Very, very tough schedule. BK had a good year. See a little regression in year 2 here. Over to Brandon Walker's Mississippi State Bulldogs. Nate.
Rip, Coach Leach. What is their over under? Scott, you didn't give it to me.
I think it's 6.5, right, Scott?
I think they'll be under at 6. They'll go 6-6. New head coach, new offensive identity. It's just you're missing a lot when you have Coach Leach. I mean, they won that bowl game against Illinois just because they needed to. But I can see them struggling this year at 6-6 for sure.
I have Mississippi State going under. New coaching staff, a little bit of scheme change up, so I'm going to go under 6.5.
Do we lose Scott?
Yeah, we lost Scott, but that's okay. I have it pulled up, Nate, so we can keep rolling
cool.
through. Missouri's the next one. Line set at 6.5. What do you got for Missouri?
They love Drinkowitz, man. I don't see them getting 6.5 wins. I see them being competitive. They're a really good team when it comes to like on the number wise, but no, they'll under 6.5.
I also have under 6.5 for Missouri. Scott's back with us. Scott, we just did we're on Missouri's 6.5. Me and Nate both have them under. What do you got, Missouri?
Yep. Yep, I have under 6.5 for Mississippi State and Missouri.
Awesome.
So we'll
So
move
so
on
far we're on
to
it.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. What's my
7.5.
numbers?
7.5.
Over. Lane
Over.
Kiffin's
Wow.
good for 8 every year.
Very true. Taking them over, Jake?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was like, oh, Scott just did this. My bad. Ole Miss 7.5. I got them going over. I'm breaking down Ole Miss for my surprise team, so you'll get to hear a little more about them a little later.
I was not convinced, and then I remembered Lane Kiffin is good for 8 every year. Give me over 7.5.
All right.
Moving on to the South Carolina Gamecocks, 6.5 over under. Nate.
Coach Beamer alone and his charisma can get them 7 wins. So I'm giving them 7 max this year. Their schedule is murders a row. It's stupid. I would hate to be a Gamecock fan because they got no help at all this year. So yeah, they're gonna go over 6. What was it? 6.5?
6.5.
Yeah, I'll go over that. So because they're gonna get it. They're gonna get 7 at least.
Yeah, I had South Carolina with exactly 7 wins, so we're gonna go over for South Carolina.
I'm going under 6.5. I will take
Ooh.
I will be a lone wolfie over here with the under.
And we are
Moving
missing
on to
Ryan
Nate's.
too.
Yeah, Ryan's. We'll get Ryan's picks up on the graphic.
Yeah, we'll get Ryan's
But
up
for
there
the
if you're
purpose of
listening.
tonight, Tennessee Volunteers, Nate, your team, 9.5 is
9.5.
where they have the line set. Where are we at?
Over.
Over
Easy.
or under?
Oh, Jake, you're muted.
Oh no, I got
Okay.
it. We're good. Thanks for catching it. I have Tennessee at 10 wins, so I have them hitting the over.
Boom. It's another Orange Bowl, baby.
Dang, this.
He's gonna break your heart.
He doesn't.
I'm
He's
gonna
a
break
Big
the
Ten guy.
heart.
He doesn't know.
It's
okay.
It's the distractions. 9 wins for Tennessee.
Distractions.
Under 9.5.
Maybe I can.
They have like a bunch of sanctions.
I can break all that down for you in my segment later. Maybe I could. Maybe you can change your mind.
I don't know. I think I'm committed. I don't think there's any takebacks on this segment. I think this is on
commissioner
record.
of the porch. I'm the commissioner of the porch. I can make things happen.
And you'll give me an exemption, a one-time exemption. Texas A&M 7.5 for good old Jimbo Fisher.
This is stealing candy from a baby in Vegas terms. This is easily an 8-win to 9-win team. So I'm going with them. I'm going over.
I do have their over, however, don't be shocked. Their floor is pretty bad again. But their ceiling is very high. It's the biggest
highest
floor,
and the lowest floor.
Biggest floor and ceiling in the entire SEC. So I do have them hitting the over, but don't be shocked. You heard it here on the back porch first. The wheels could fall off quick.
It could.
Vegas loves the over in this, paying out minus 175, but under paying out plus 140. It's crazy. If you look at it, the same thing with I'm gonna take A&M over 7.5 as well, but they have the same payout here for Vandy as well, minus 170 for over 3.5. I have the Vandy breakdown coming up. I had it when I broke it down. We were at 2.5, and I was going over. I don't know if they can get 4, but give me under Vandy. Under Vandy.
It moved because it was earlier in December at 2.5, and so many people are taking the over because everyone knows they can win 3. Right? It's that.
They're non-conference. As long as they beat Hawaii, I think they play Hawaii week 0.
Yes,
I think.
And they play them in 38 days,
but they go to Hawaii,
not done with because No, it's in Nashville, and they're not done with their
It is.
field. Half their field is gone.
All right, well,
Yeah.
Hawaii's gonna win that one.
But yeah, I had
Oh yeah,
Vandy
for the Taylor.
over.
Did they have the Taylor Swift concert there? No.
No.
No,
They're doing renovations on the stadium.
renovations,
Yeah,
but they have
that-
38 days to finish the
Scott,
stadium.
we did miss one team. We missed one team, and I don't know.
right,
We missed
that's-
Arkansas.
Hold on,
We
I
missed
gotta go.
Arkansas.
Vanderbilt, I'm going over. They're gonna get 4. They're gonna beat Wake Forest.
I have Arkansas right now. I'm ready for it. Yeah. So you
Jake,
have
what'd
over
you say?
3.5, Nate.
I got over 3.5. I'm going over 3.5. Put your money down. Clark Lee, he got his extension.
Cool. What was Arkansas's over under, Scott?
Jake. 3.5 or no, not 3.5. Vandy. Are you over or under on Vandy? And then we got Arkansas.
Over. Sorry, my bad.
You're
man,
over
we got some
3.5.
believers.
Okay. And then
All right.
Arkansas. You're fine. you got the 2 believers in here. Loving the SEC bias over here already. Shortly into the episode. Arkansas is 6.5.
Over all day.
Arkansas can play everyone tough. 6.5.
Over all day. KJ Jefferson's 19th year. They have a freaking phenomenal defense coming back. They the whole team is like 98 years old. They're all on ARP. They could easily get 6 wins. They're going to be the hardest team to play ever. They're just going to be pesky, and I like Sam Pittman, so easily over on 6.5.
Yeah. So when I saw this line in January, it was actually an even 7 via another sports book we won't mention, and I had them actually on a push to win exactly 7 games. I don't think they won 8. I, on the other hand, opposite of Nate, do not believe in KJ Jefferson to do it for a full slate. So I got them at exactly 7 wins. So that is enough for a 6.5 over. So I will take the over if it's at 6.5.
They're like the hardest team you will ever play in the world, but they'll never win.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, it's over for them. Scott, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm over 6.5. I'm on the Woo Pig Suey hype train. And I'm ready to go into our team breakdown here. Who's taking wheel?
Let's start off with Auburn. I want to learn a little bit more about these Tigers since Hugh Freeze took over the reins.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously Auburn's doing something that in my lifetime I'm very familiar with, and that's starting the season with a brand new coach. Auburn historically,
Sorry.
You're good. Auburn historically is very good with a brand new coach. Look at what Gus Malzahn did, going to the Natty. Look what Brian Harsin did. He won like 8 games. Potato Man, we'll start calling him Potato Man. We'll no longer refer to him his actual name. And even when Gene Chizik was there, you know, he had a transition. He brings in Gus Malzahn to coach the offense, and they go win a national championship with the greatest single-season college quarterback ever, and that's Cam Newton. So I am really high on what Auburn's doing. They brought in 19 guys from the portal, but they didn't just bring in a bunch of wide receivers and DBs. They brought in everything, but especially they brought in the worst part of their team last year, which was the offensive line. But talking about quarterbacks, they did bring in one addition. I would like to point out a few little stats. So they brought in Peyton Thorne. He's not been announced as a starter. Hugh Freeze has alluded to, we're going to run a 2-quarterback system. Makes a lot of sense because Robbie Ashford's legs are absolutely ridiculous. But in the 2 seasons that Peyton Thorne was a starting quarterback at Michigan State, he threw for 3,232 yards, and his worst of the 2 years was 2,679. Let me just tell you something. If he can throw for 3,223 yards, he will be second all-time in a single season at Auburn. And if he throws for 2,679 yards, he will be good for 6th all-time as a quarterback in a single season. Auburn does not always put out these quarterbacks. So if he can be somewhere in between, there's no doubt in my mind that Auburn can win 8 games or 9 games. On the flip side, it is a rebuild. Hugh's doing this a different way than other guys have in the past. But our defense is still going to be great. Ron Roberts is there. Going to be running that defense. One of the smartest minds. So we will see what happens, but I personally think that Auburn is going to win between 7 and 9 games this year. And yes, I'm a homer, absolutely. But when you bring in that much talent, you bring in the transfer from Ohio State wide receiver, you bring in Rivaldo Fairweather at tight end, you bring in linebackers, defensive tackles, you bring in one of the best center transfers in the nation, you bring in tackles and interior offensive linemen. There's no reason they shouldn't be able to compete. They have a very favorable non-conference schedule. You have to go to Cal to basically play at midnight.
That midnight game at Cal.
Yeah, pretty much midnight. I'm pulling up the schedule real quick while we're sitting here chatting about Auburn. I think I had them exactly winning 8-4. I had them winning, so they go to UMass win, Cal win, Samford, not Stanford, but Samford win, at Texas A&M where they have found success at A&M, how to win. Then they're going to go 3 straight losses in my mind to Georgia, LSU, Ole Miss. That's 3 losses. Then they get Mississippi State at home, win, go to Vandy, win, to Arkansas, win, New Mexico State at home, win, and then Bama at home, loss. So I have them at 8-4 exactly because I do believe what Hugh Freeze has done bringing in guys. And I do know that when you bring in a brand new coordinating team and a new head coach, that a lot of times magic can happen because the leagues aren't ready for it. So I do have Auburn 8-4. That's my breakdown for the Auburn Tigers.
Nice. Question about the Auburn Tigers. How many of the core of the team stayed? I know a lot of guys left after
we
lost
lost
and all
20. We lost 20 plus transfers to the transfer portal. Brought in 19 portal guys and another about 20 guys from the high school ranks. So our defense, we're bringing back a ton of our guys on defense. A lot of our DBs. Some of them looking to go in the draft this year.
So you say 50% of the rosters
retaining? Yeah, pretty much. But that's okay because look how bad we were. I'm not really upset about it. Yeah. Pretty much, you'll have 3 brand new wide receivers running
what is
on
the
offense.
What is the feedback? Obviously, it's preseason. Everybody's saying the same thing, but what is the nucleus that stayed with that culture that he's building? Is the excitement? Is it that family atmosphere? Is it they all just want to win so badly? What can kind of break down what's going on during this offseason? Are they having fun? Are they getting to know each other even more deep in a brotherhood kind of thing? Eliminating all the noise and just really focusing on getting better every practice, getting better throughout, just life in general. To me, from the non-Auburn side of this thing, it looks like literally the Heupel turnover is the exact same year one for Heupel, especially right now. Obviously, we haven't played a game yet, but the first thing Heupel did was everybody who stayed was like, cool, you're my guys. All right, let's have some fun. And they'll bring in the guys I need to bring in. So I know it's a long question. I need to repeat it. Yeah.
No, you're good. The fastest way I can answer it is they asked him this at SEC Media Day. So what's going on? How are you resetting Auburn? And he said 100% it's a culture shift. We're resetting the culture shift. I can't find the quote off the top of my head, which is bad on me. But basically he said faith is our number one thing, and it's not necessarily faith in a higher being, but it's faith in the guy sitting next to you as number one. Hard work is one of them. And he goes through like 5 things of culture. This is our culture. This is our nucleus. And guys are buying in. Everybody's pumped. I mean, we're not out here getting these 5-star recruits right now that we haven't gotten the past like 4 or 5 years without Hugh Freeze selling something and making guys believe. So whatever he's doing is working. The other big thing to think about, we lost some guys. We kept some guys. Carnell Williams stayed. And we all saw that Texas A&M game. And what he means to Auburn is unbelievable. I remember being a kid back in 2004 watching him just run all over people, him and Ronnie Brown. So Carnell Williams being back is massive for the program.
Yes. Yeah, I think Auburn, to me, is going to have a standout year. I think the whole expectations is just get a bowl game. Just get a bowl game. That's all. But they could, if they, that first year, like how Heupel did, he shocked some people and got some wins. So, and trying to figure it out. And it's also, Hugh Freeze runs a really good offense. So year one with that offense, it's a lot of meshing together and timing. So they might not look as good week 1 to 2, but come week 9 and 7 and 8 end of the season, they might be looking pretty damn good offensively when it comes to the timing of it and everything like that. Knowing whoever their quarterback is, the packages, the plays. My biggest concern for Auburn is depth. It's a long season, so I know they're building offensive line depth, but how much do they actually have?
Well, that's the thing. You brought in 3 or 4 freshmen that a couple of them get a chance to play. You brought in 4 from the portal, and you had 3 guys left over, 3 or 4 left over at various positions. I mean, there's guys that have played a lot of football on the offensive line that are there, and there's some newcomers, and there looks like 1 or 2 of the freshmen may get a chance to play on that line early, which is good because you got guys that have played football at college level to backing them up. So it's not perfect.
Are these linemen doing double duty, like playing both guard positions?
They don't need it. They don't need it for the first time in
that's good.
8 years, man.
That's good. That's a good sign.
We actually have tackles and guards, and center may be the only position that our backup center can also play interior line, but he's not the starter. But he played center last year when we had 2 injuries at the center position. He came in and he was better than the other 2. When the other 2 got healthy, he stayed playing. He was great. And we were able to run the ball down people's throats through, the last 3 weeks of the season.
There you go. Sweet. That is a great breakdown by Jake on our Auburn Tigers, your Auburn Tigers, but the SEC Auburn Tigers football. So if you are listening to this, don't be surprised if you come, mid-October and you're going, wait, why is Auburn staying in this game with this team? It's because it's their culture, it's their staff, it's the depth that they've done in the offseason to be competitive quickly. So that is awesome. Completely awesome. So Scott has left the chat. I don't know where Scott went. He'll be back, I'm assuming. Jake will probably find that on that one. I'm going to give my bias breakdown of my Tennessee Volunteers. Tennessee Volunteers, year 3 of the Heupel experiment. Most recently this week, NCAA took away 11 wins that really don't care about. But it's information and news that Tennessee has been waiting for since he took over, because we self-imposed a lot of our discipline. We did a self-imposing of scholarships. The last 3 seasons, we've taken 10 scholarships each season away from us. So really, all we really needed was the NCAA to tell us you don't have a bowl ban. Because if you have a bowl ban, all the recruiting you've been doing, all the momentum you've been doing goes right down the drain, saying, hey, if you come to our team, you're going to, compete for championships. Well, you can't if you have a bowl ban. So that was huge news this week.
Not committing the violations.
Unfortunately, they got ahead of it. I think the best thing that Jared Gantano ever did was narc on Jeremy Pruitt, because not the sanctions, but the information happened the week of the Texas A&M game when he was told he's not starting anymore as a 6-year senior. That's when the rumors happened, and it went to the president of the school. And the president of the schools said the person who came to her was very respected and she had to listen to him. And I'm like, it's freaking Jared Gantano. He's a whistleblower. So that's what happened. I believe Jeremy Pruitt is the scum of the earth. This is what happens when you hire an Alabama scum, a Bammer, to run your program. But Tennessee did the right thing. They self-imposed a bunch of stuff. And a lot of it has already been attached. They've already done their self-imposing. So the big kicker is taking 11 wins away from us. Oh no, 11 wins. it might not mean a lot, but it did take us out of the top 10 of most winning programs of all time. But we'll get that back. We'll get that back when it comes to UT football. But no, we're focusing on the 2023 season. This year, it could be a 8-win season, or it could be an undefeated season. The ceiling is high, the floor is mid, but from everything that everybody's focusing on when it comes to the Vols this year, everybody's focusing on Joe Milton. What can Joe Milton do? Can Joe Milton be accurate? Can Joe Milton make the plays? Can he make the reads? Can he make the calls? He's a fifth-year guy. He got beat out at Michigan. Can Joe do this? Joe do that? Blah, 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 blah. I'm not even focusing on Joe because if you know Heupel's offenses, Heupel likes to run the ball just as much as he likes to pass it. He's about 50-50. And we have a stable of running backs this year with a very, very experienced, deep offensive line, which all they do is like knocking chocolate out of you. And so you take that running game with the fast pace of that offense. Really, you're not asking Joe to do a lot. You're just asking Joe to make those throws. That's what you're really asking. You're not asking him to be Hendon Hooker. You're asking him to be Joe. Just be Joe. I think what we saw in the Orange Bowl was the team that you're going to see this year. And I've rewatched that twice now. In the Orange Bowl, Joe looked really good. The offense looked really good. A lot of people that were going in the draft set out. So you got to see this year's team play a top 7 Clemson team, a top 10 defensive Clemson team, and you got to see our guys get after it. And they didn't shy away from competition. I expect the same thing to happen this year. Depth, they finally have depth. They have a clear vision of what they want to do on offense. Everybody knows what they want to do. They want to go fast. They want to score a lot of points, and they want to get you off of your positioning. They want to get you confused, and it's proven that. We've seen it last 2 years. This is 3 years into this. 3 years into this, and so the guys who've been there for 3 years, we're talking about they should know this offense like the back of their hand. Joe Milton knows the offense back of his hand. If you do want to know anything, my confidence in Heupel as a quarterback coach and an offensive coordinator and a head coach are through the roof right now. You look at his track record with quarterbacks. He put Drew Lock in the league, like when he went to Missouri. You look at what he did for Hendon Hooker within 2 years. Look what he did with McKenzie at UCF before he got hurt. Look what he did for Dylan Gabriel at UCF. I mean, the guy knows what he's doing when it comes to quarterbacks and everything about that. And then on top of that, the backup with the Nico kid. It's going to be a really fun ride for the Vols, and it's only starting right now. They just at 7 p.m. tonight, they got their diamond 5-star Mike Matthews wide receiver, number 1 ESPN wide receiver in the nation. So guys are starting to come to UT, and they're starting to see it. And so if you're an offensive guy, you want to be there because you know I can get to the league. So we have so many wide receivers. I think the wide receiver core this year, even because Tillman and Hyde are gone, you would think, oh, we got it. Those are huge holes to fill. I don't think so. I think you have Brew McCoy. He's 6'4", 235. If you don't know who he is, he's the guy who made that catch in the Alabama game, that big catch to get us to the field goal. Brew's a hoss, right? He's not going to burn you, but he's gonna be able to do the one-on-ones. You got Squirrel White. That kid is the fastest kid on the team. You put him in the slot. You do all their fast-paced stuff and movements and route running. By all means, have fun trying to catch him. We still have Ramil Keaton. You got Princeton Fant coming back. Just depth everywhere. We have a couple freshmen wide receivers that might get some looks this year. But the biggest improvement in the offseason is the defense. Tennessee, everyone looks at the South Carolina game, and I can get into that in another day. But their defense was flirting with disaster all year last year. They just didn't have DBs. They had no corners. They had no safeties. They had nothing. They brought in the best corner from BYU and their best linebacker from BYU. They brought in a bunch of dudes from the transfer portal to fill the gaps. On top of that, they have Danico Slaughter coming in at the star position this year. He's going to have a breakout year. Everyone's talking about it. All the NFL NFL professional focus football guys, whatever it is, they're predicting a breakout year for him. I predict a breakout year on the defensive side of the ball, to where we're actually going to be stopping teams. No more. Oh, if we can outscore them, we're going to see a full team play together finally. And special team wise, we brought in another kicker who's going to be able to kick the ball very well for the Vols. So I'm looking at a really, really good season. A lot of the talking heads around the country, it's all about Joe Milton. And I say it's all about the defense and the running game. And I think they know that too, and they have a lot of depth. They have a lot of talent. Oh, biggest transfer portal, they got Dante Thornton from Oregon. Forgot to mention that. He was Oregon's freaking speedster. He was pretty much why Bo Nix had a great year. And he transferred to Tennessee. So we have him too. I forgot about him. So you have 4 good wide receivers. 2 of them are faster than everybody else on the team. Faster than anybody else on this field. So it's going to be fun, especially when teams are going to they got to try to stop the ball in running bound. And also Joe Milton, he's huge. He's a monster. So look for a lot of packages, like how they used Cam Newton at Auburn, how they used him in the NFL, using him as your third down, your fourth down back, getting the ball in the red zone. Yeah, Jalen Hurts sneak. He's just as big. He's a big dude, so I can see bigger. A lot. He might be bigger, yeah.
Like at least taller. I think his Hurts is only 6'1".
Yeah, he's like 6'1", 6'2". Joe's like 6'6".
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like 262. Get behind that boy.
Yeah, it's pretty much what they're gonna do, and so that does help in the red zone too, or short yardage. Because sometimes you get in those short yardage and you do the no huddle. You guys get up and go.
Yeah, so, the Tebow sneak.
Yeah, man. So I'm expecting a big year. I'm expecting to see a full, complete package on the field. They go to Bama. They go to Tuscaloosa. That doesn't necessarily scare me, because Tennessee and Alabama, wherever they play each other, it doesn't matter. It could be an empty lot. It could be your backyard. This is going to be a game no matter what. I think last year proved that. And I think they got the monkey off their back. Tennessee's played Alabama in all the other major sports besides football this year, and they've been undefeated against Alabama and everything. So that's a lot to testament to say. I think the monkey's off the Vols' back. The sleeping giant is finally awake, and they're not going anywhere, and they're recruiting at such a high level right now. So, and the fans, I probably won't even go to a game this year again, because I can't afford to go to a game. Like the season tickets sold out. The single game tickets have already been on sale, and they've only have 2 games left that are open to the public that I can get. It's UConn and UTSA.
Go watch them beat UConn 63-3.
It'll be great. Yeah. So that's my breakdown on them. Just be alert. Just don't fall into the narrative that it's all on Milton's shoulders. It's not on his shoulders. He has. I would say if he didn't have the weapons and the depth around him, with also a really good offensive line, then I would say yes, but it's not. It's not the case. So don't fall for the narrative, boys.
You never know. I mean, with Vegas is always pretty close with their with the over-unders. So I'm going to not do a as detailed breakdown for Vandy. I mean, I love Vanderbilt. I love Nashville. Love everything about it. But I have Vandy. But as everyone knows, Vandy is a baseball school. So, look, Vandy went 5-7 last year. They beat Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
They beat the University of Florida. They did have 2 wins against Alabama, A&M, and Hawaii. So, take that with a grain of salt. But their over-under was 2.5 earlier this offseason. If you got it at 2.5, you are going to fucking cash the ticket. It was plus 120 as well. So that was incredible value if you got over 2.5 plus 120. I love it. We did take them over 3.5. I believe all of us, did we all take over Vandy?
I took them over.
3. I think we're just gonna ride with Vandy over 3.5. Like
Bandy boys. Bandy boys.
it was so on the fence. Like if it was 2.5, it was a layup to get 3 this year. Like they just got to get lucky and beat Alabama, A&M, and Hawaii. So Vandy's not fun to watch. Like don't watch them. Don't go out of the way to watch them. But
No. You're gonna have to
well,
week 0 though. It's the only game on.
Yeah. They got the Hawaii game. I think it's like 7:30 SEC Network.
Yep.
Not that I care or anything. But
You do care putting that money down.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's my Vandy. Vandy is not the team to watch in the SEC. Go watch Auburn. Go watch Tennessee. Don't watch freaking Vandy football. That's just torture.
Will they be better than last year's team?
I would say no. I think that in 5-7 is brutal. If you can't be better than 5-7, like not a good football team to watch.
Do you
But
think
the one?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you think they can get like a Missouri this year or a South Carolina, someone who's sleeping on them?
I mean, they got dogged by a lot of the SEC teams last year, so I don't know if it's their year to be lucky. They caught Florida at the right time. I think they go on the road in UF this year, so they're not going to get lucky there. Kentucky is going to be a surprise team. They are my surprise team. They don't have any real expectations without the fucking Mayo boy, Will Levis there. 6.5 is their win total. They got the kid coming in from NC State as their quarterback. To
Is this your
ride
transition?
the expectations. Yeah, that was my transition.
Okay. All right. So we're doing our surprise team. Okay. All right. So Scott's doing surprise team.
Me and you can do surprise teams. I know Jake's got a run here, unless he wants to break down his surprise team in 30 seconds.
Yeah, go ahead, Jake. 30 seconds.
Yeah, so my surprise team's Ole Miss, and it's not really that big of a surprise, but the biggest surprise that's going to be is who's starting a quarterback for them. They brought in like 14 quarterbacks, but seriously, they brought in 20 portal guys. Lane Kiffin's the portal king. We'll see. They bring back a great running game. The what? So I think that Ole Miss, yeah, right. Ole Miss is going to surprise some folks. Potentially, they may not. They may just be exactly who we think they are with 8 wins. But I think they could surprise teams and potentially be the second best team in the SEC West. But we'll see.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I will see. I will see about them. But Joey Freshwater, aka Lane Kiffin, Lane Train, his offense alone and his mind alone is going to get you to 8 wins with whoever doesn't matter play quarterback. I think their defense is. I think they're going to get a whole lot better this year, defensively. But yeah, I'm with you, man. They'll beat somebody they're not supposed to on their schedule.
They have the third most wins over the past. What was it? Third most overall wins behind Alabama and Georgia over the last 3 seasons. So
now, if it's the Ole Miss team that showed up to the bowl game, no. But if it's the Ole Miss team that we know that needs to play, then yes. That they got beat the shit out of in the bowl game by Oregon State. Like, it was bad.
Yeah. So I mean, they bring a lot back. So they're my surprise team. And I just say that to say, don't be surprised if they
don't be surprised when you're playing them or you see them beating somebody. Yeah, like where do they play? They always play LSU pretty good, always. Yeah. So when do they play them? Jay?
They am I muted? No, I'm not muted. Okay. They get so the bad thing is the reason I have them going 9-3. So they got Mercer, Tulane, Georgia Tech, all 3 wins, and they go to Bama and get LSU at home. So I have both losses. Then Arkansas at home will win. At Auburn, I actually have a win. Vandy at home win. Texas A&M at home win. At Georgia, they got to go to Georgia, share a loss, and then Monroe and at Mississippi State. So I have them
But
at
they got
9-3.
LSU at home.
They do, but it's right after going to Bama, so that could be just a letdown spot.
It
But
could
then
be.
they get Arkansas at home the following week, so they get back-to-back
Mm.
home games after Bama. So I got them at 9-3, but
That's a good year. That's a
let's
good
not
year.
be let's not be shocked if they split maybe with Alabama and Georgia and beat LSU. I wouldn't be shocked.
I wouldn't be shocked at all.
But
Because
that is my
Lane can do it.
Yeah, so that's gonna be my surprise team. I do have to bounce because
As a good
little guys need to
surprise.
get to bed. But
Yep.
appreciate it, guys. Y'all take it easy, and thanks for listening to all those out there.
Thank you all. Bye, Jake. Go be a dad.
Later, guys.
Catch you, Jake.
See ya.
Father of 2 out. Checking out. Look at
Father
that
of 2
Auburn
out.
breakdown that we got from
What a
Drake.
good. That was
Jeez, like,
phenomenal.
Auburn
I felt
is,
like I was in
Auburn is going to be good.
the media room.
I might
Auburn's
be
going
an
to be.
Auburn fan.
I'm a Hugh Freeze fan. I've always liked Hugh Freeze. So
Yeah, he's
I've always liked Hugh
he's
Freeze.
a likable guy.
Even with his burner phones, I liked him. So
Yeah, it don't
I
matter.
respect the hell
we
out
can
of
move
him.
past. Yeah, I
Listen, we can
respect
move
KD
past
for
that.
admitting that he has burner accounts. Like I respect it.
I 100% definitely respectable. I guess it's my turn for my SEC sleeper team.
Yeah,
I
your
picked
surprise breakdown.
I picked Texas A&M. Here's my sleeper pick on Texas A&M. Texas A&M could go undefeated, or they could go 5-7. It doesn't. It's the biggest question mark in college football history. What are they going to do?
That's what. Isn't that the beauty of Jimbo Fisher?
That's the beauty of Jimbo Wild Man Gumbo Fisher. That's what he wants. He wants everybody to be asking him questions. Jim, are you calling the plays this year? Jim, why is Bobby Petrino your offensive coordinator? Jim, why do you have so many players that are leaving your program? AKA 30-something players left your program. Jim. He loves it. He loves the attention. Jimbo.
Yeah, he
and
loves that camera. Like that's why he loved the Jameis experience.
He loved the Jameis experience. It was his favorite thing in the world. You have to remember, Jimbo Fisher sat under Bobby Bowden. Bobby Bowden gave the best halftime interviews walking into the tunnel. He loved the limelight. So Jimbo does the same thing that Bobby does.
Yeah.
Right? So when Jimbo was asked yesterday at the SEC Media Day about who's calling the plays, he skated the question and made it about himself.
In typical Jimbo fashion.
Here's my best Jimbo Fisher impression. I'm gonna do my best, but he was. It don't matter who's gonna call the plays. I'm gonna call the plays. We brought Bobby Petrino in. We brought all kinds of. I got all kinds of coaches in my coaching locker room. We like each other. I respect them all. They respect me. Respect our opinion. So next time if you want to ask a question like that about who's calling plays, just ask me because I'm the boss. That was pretty much Jimbo in a nutshell yesterday.
Oh, that is awesome. That is the speed of which Jimbo talks at. There's a little bit of that accent. That's good. That might be up there with your Coach O impression.
Now, if Coach O gets a job at Northwestern, we'll bring him back. But
you don't want to give the people a little bit of the Coach O, a little preview. What's Coach O's introductory press conference going to be like at Northwestern?
Hey, it's good to be in Chicago. It ain't quite in New Orleans, but it's cold up here. But I like purple, so I picked the purple team. I like challenges, and I'm single, so in Chicago go when I come over here.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, love you, Coach O. We'll love you on the program one day. Anyways, A&M's biggest secret is Who's going to play quarterback? Is it Wegman? Is it Johnson? Is it Wegman? Is it Johnson? No one knows. No one freaking knows. Their team is loaded. When I say loaded, I'm talking about triple barrel magnum shotgun, the biggest gun you could ever find in a video game, loaded. Their team, all you have to do is point them in the right direction and they will accomplish the job. The problem is the coaches and the staff, and it starts with Jimbo. He gets out of the way and let Bobby Petrino call the plays and find an offensive identity. I rewatched that Miami game, like the Miami game from last year. It was boring. They had no identity. They had no clue what they were doing. And Miami also would have beat them if they would have caught the football. There's
Yeah,
three plays.
funny.
There's 3 plays. Yeah, go ahead.
You just reminded me of the coaches of that kid in that one video is like, it's none of you on the players' fault. It was on the coaches, and I just assumed that's how the A&M locker room is, and the A&M boosters it was the coach.
It was the coaches though. It was the coaches. It looks like Scott got technical difficulties, but no, A&M. All they have to do is literally play together as a team, find their identity, trust in Bobby Petrino to call the plays. He's a great offensive coordinator. Everywhere he's gone, they've scored over 30-something points per game with him. They have enough talent on this team for them. There's enough talent on this team for A&M to be competitive in every game they play. It's either with Wegman or Johnson. I think Wegman's a better quarterback. He just needs to have a quarterback coach for them. He needs to be confident in everything. But their defense, oh my God, their defensive line is so loaded with NFL talent. You have the Nolan kid or whatever his name is. Dude's a stud. You have the corners. Both cornerbacks are freaking lightning. There's their whole DB, the whole defensive unit can play these games by themselves and win this year. So if they can figure out an offense
about the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So we have this problem at the big programs going on right now, and I don't know if you can attest to it, but I just had this weird epiphany 5 minutes ago when we were talking about the quarterbacks, who's going to play quarterback here, who's going to play quarterback here. Do you think that there has anything to do with the NIL deals and coaches naming quarterbacks? Because right now it's the middle of July and we don't know who's playing quarterback at Texas A&M. We don't know who's playing quarterback at Alabama. We don't know who's playing quarterback at Ohio State. And that's just naming three big name programs off the top of my head. Are coaches not naming a quarterback to the media right now because of the possibilities of these guys with NIL deals ruining it for them?
Nah,
or are they afraid that they're just going to go into the portal and leave right before the season?
I think it might be what you just said. They might be, if they announce a quarterback too early, they'll lose a guy to the portal. Right? It's about navigating that. But I also think they need to see these guys compete again in the fall. There's not enough separation between the quarterbacks competition wise to say, hey, this is going to be my starter. And a lot of these guys need fall camp to separate themselves, to prove what they've done the whole summer, right? You can definitely tell if someone put in a whole bunch of work over the summer, right? So a lot of these quarterbacks, like at Alabama, you got Sampson, Buckner, and Milroe, right? Well, they can't make a decision because they're so close in competition. There's not one person separating themselves and making themselves better in practice. So it comes down to, I'm going to need these first 3 games to figure out who my guy is. Unfortunately, Alabama doesn't have that. They have 1 week to figure that out because they got Texas week 2.
Yep.
So Ohio State, luckily for them, they play cupcakes for the first 3 weeks. So they
And
can
then
they
they got another
can. All right,
game.
you're gonna have the first quarter. You're gonna have this, and you know what I mean. Just see what they do. Eventually, cream rises to the top always, and a quarterback will be named. You cannot not as a coach go into like the fourth week not having a named quarterback.
Yeah, you saw that a couple
So
years ago with Michigan when Harbaugh
was
did
it
it, and it
exactly with
just
Harbaugh?
was a
Yeah,
disaster.
it was. So a lot of it could be they're just that good. All of them, they're just that good that there's no separation because the competition's so good. Or it could be, hey, they're not figuring it out. They're not showing confidence. A lot of it, you can see it in the kid's shoulders. You can see it when he plays in practice. If he's playing loose, if he's playing in between his head, he looks slower compared to what his game film in high school looked like. Because in high school, you're a stud. You just have confidence in yourself. You just
Yep.
play. So a lot of it has to do with that. I think Milroe's going to be the starter just because of his legs. You don't need a lot out of an arm when you can get out of situations with your legs at Alabama. Their offensive line is going to be a whole lot better. The wide receiver core is going to be a whole lot better. They're going to take a step forward in that. Tommy Reese is a very pro style, run the ball type coordinator. They're going back to that slow, grind it and beat you up kind of football style with these quarterbacks because they don't have Bryce Young. So they're going to try to keep it as simple as possible and pretty much let the studs do their job.
Yeah.
So we'll see that.
Wow,
this year.
we're so close. We're so close from the season starting.
We're so close.
It's exciting to do this
Yes.
breakdown of
We have our prediction
conference
segment.
number 1.
Coverage number 1, SEC. 4 more power conferences coming later this remainder of the month in August. We're going to break down our predictions right now to end it and wrap it up. It's been almost an hour. So if you're still with us, thank you for that. Prediction, Scott, who is your SEC East winner prediction?
Oh man, it's hard to not give a repeat of last year. Am I still in the chat here?
You're
can
still
you hear
here.
me?
Yeah, you're still with us. We can hear you.
I'm still here and I'm breaking up and the internet is terrible here right now with the with Cape Coral. There's a giant storm going on.
Oh, it's all good.
So
your prediction. So you got Georgia East.
well, I think yeah. It's hard to
Just
not
thinking.
count them.
Yeah. Yeah. Georgia East, who's winning the West?
That's always the most
That's the hardest one.
the most fun to play with. Yeah, it's so funny because like you can win it one year and then you can be 7-5 the next year. It's I hate making predictions, especially for conferences that I don't like.
I know.
Because at the end of the day, like I don't want any of these people to win. Like I don't want Georgia. I don't want Georgia to win the SEC. I don't want freaking Alabama to win the SEC.
Scott, you got to
Like,
take your biases away, brother.
I want these teams
You're in
to
the
be
media now. You have to take your biases
but
out.
I don't. Do I have to?
Yeah, you have to give us your SEC West prediction.
Can I take LSU?
You can if you want.
No, I took them under 9.5 wins.
You took them under 9.5, but you can take them.
Yeah, can I take them to win the West?
So Scott's prediction is an undefeated dog team and a 9-3
versus
3 LSU
what is this,
team.
the ACC, or are we breaking down the ACC or the SEC?
That means the West is just going to be a big. The West is going to be a big snowball fight.
Yeah, exactly. Ole Miss and Auburn's going to come in. The Razorbacks
And
are going
A&M.
to get one.
Everyone's going to beat everybody every week.
Yeah, give me the layup of the freaking SEC title game, the Georgia versus Alabama. Until
Georgia,
I can see
Alabama.
it differently.
All right,
Yeah.
Georgia, Alabama. Good prediction, Scott. Good prediction.
It's the layup one. I don't like doing it, but
yes. Hey,
I don't
it's got to
hesitate.
do it. You got to take those.
Yeah.
It's July, late July. You got to make those predictions. All right.
Yeah.
Prediction from me: SEC West, LSU. I think LSU takes another stride
You think
forward.
BK can do it?
Yeah, I think Brian Kelly's crazy enough that he can do it. It's not him; it's just the talent around him. Defensively, wow, awesome. Offensively, woo, even better. If they don't beat FSU though, then no. that game is going to set their course for the rest of the season because they have such a hard. There's no breaks in their schedule.
Mm-hmm.
There's no breaks. So I say LSU wins the West, and then my Georgia is going to win the East. I hate saying it; it makes me want to vomit. But Georgia, LSU rematch. LSU wins Georgia because look how they played last year in that SEC game before. Like it was a really tight game, and then Georgia took it over. I feel like LSU this year, LSU beats Georgia in the SEC championship game.
Wow, love it. LSU does have a break in their schedule. It is week 2. It is against Grambling. But then they also have Army.
That's
at
not a
home
break.
Saturday in October.
That's not a break.
What do you mean?
Army's
Georgia State not a break?
They have to freaking cover the triple option. That's not a break. That's not fun for anybody.
Break for the secondary.
Yeah, good. Yeah, secondary. But the poor linebackers and defensive line they're gonna be just icing their knees.
Yeah.
God.
Like, hey, let's just have one DB at the top. Like you guys can rotate in like every quarter.
Pretty much. So yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be a phenomenal football season. This is it's been great, but I feel like it seems like every 5 years where it's like it's good, but then it gets really good. This is the 5-year peak. We're at the mountaintop right now of college football. Yep. There's so many good teams and so many like teams that are mid that are really competitive that can make that next leap right now to the next level. So I'm excited for it. In the SEC, there's a lot of competition. Anybody can get you in any day. The Big Ten's the same way. The Big Ten this year, it seems like it's going to be loaded. Pac-12, when we get to that, we're going to need more than 60 minutes to talk about that one. Man, so keep alert. If you're following us, keep following us on our social medias. We have nothing but fun content coming out in the future. Continue to share this, like, subscribe, do all the things you're supposed to do, and be a loyal follower. We're continuing to blow this thing up.
And read the blogs.
Read the blogs. Scott is doing a phenomenal job writing these NFL blogs. We haven't got into NFL yet, but we got it all going. So thank you again for being a loyal follower of the Back Porch. It's only not even year 1 yet. Year 1 starts in September for us. Full year.
Yes,
so yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. So Scott, enjoy babysitting the dog. Get some sleep. I know I'm about to pass out after this.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna go. We'll chat.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
All right. See you on the next one.
See you at the porch next time. Bye.